Hello, my little fruity pebbles. I'm Jake. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, sink deeper into your seat, and have a cup of tea with me while I tell you a very personal story. It's the fall of 2021. I've just started my master's in social work, and I'm starting to build some great friendships and learn a bit about the field. I'm walking about 3.5 miles to class and my internship from where I live because I'm only working 10 hours a week, so I have plenty of time and I enjoy a nice long walk. It's the middle of the fall semester and I start to notice that my walking is getting a little funky and I'm having some slight issues with vision on my periphery, but nothing that feels like too noticeable. I mostly think it's just from looking at screens for too long, honestly, in bed, and maybe being a bit too sedentary since the start of all my classes. Spring semester rolls around, and I'm at the end of my first year of my master's program. I'm excited and enjoying learning and feeling more confident about my internship, doing group therapy at an intensive outpatient program for substance abuse. I'm starting to lead groups more often, do more psychoeducation, and have to start taking the bus a bit more frequently because walking is starting to feel a bit more challenging. The summer shows up and almost everything is going okay. I'm still having a slight bit of trouble walking at my usual pace and it's starting to become a bit more noticeable. Some of my friends comment that I look like I'm waddling. I have to tell my friends to start slowing down a bit when we're out and about, just walking to a restaurant or, for a walk out when it's nice by the lake. They listen and pay attention to their walking speed for a few minutes, but inevitably forget and I have to ask again, which makes me feel embarrassed. My family also points out that my eyelid is drooping and that they don't remember it ever being that way. Fall of 2022 comes and I go see my primary care doctor, a gay man in his late 50s who has a private practice, and I've been his patient since the summer of 2017 when I moved to Chicago proper. I feel comfortable with him and he knows about my depression and my body image issues. I tell him that I'm gaining weight and have been having a bit of trouble seeing. I'm having to stop turning with my back to the shower head and tilting back to wash my hair. Instead, I need to brace myself and bend forward to wash my hair. It's never been that way before, at least not since I started taking showers in elementary or middle school. I can't remember. I tell him that I'm walking kind of funny too now. He ignores everything but my weight increase and tells me that I need to exercise more, implying that I'm lazy and fat and maybe that all of these symptoms are a result of that. He asks no follow-up questions, does not ask to see me walk or check my eyes. I think to myself that it would be impossible for me to be having all of these issues as a result of gaining a little bit of weight, because at that point I'd probably gained maybe 15, 20 pounds. But I believe him anyway because my self-esteem is low and advocating for yourself is hard with someone that you trust and in a doctor's office in general. My body image issues grow further, blaming myself for the weight gain and the trouble walking and the trouble seeing and the other minor mobility issues that I'm having. I'm obviously concerned about the vision issues and worried that they might be a result of prediabetes because I've gained weight, and that's obviously because I've been lazy. Blood vessels in the eyes fraying are some of the first signs of diabetes, so I'm continuing to hurl insults at myself, burning any shred of confidence I had gained in 2019 when I was at my fittest, all while my health continues to decline. Spring of 2023 is here. It's my last semester of my second master's program. I'm so proud of my academic accomplishments and so incredibly ashamed of my body and my immobility. I'm barely able to make it up the stairs in my 3-floor walk-up because we live on the top floor. I hobble around my apartment when I have to, but mostly stay in my room. I would normally walk about 5 to 10 minutes to the nearest Trader Joe's and carry back with me a week's worth of groceries, but it's become near impossible at this point. I have to fully turn my body to see left or right, and that's because if I try to use my peripheral vision, then I get dizzy and double vision. Well, double vision first, and then I get dizzy. Obviously, this is all still my fault because I've gained weight, so I just need to exercise more. I'm pushing through walking to school sometimes to prove to myself that I'm still able to and that I'm not out of shape, but I inevitably am out of breath at the halfway mark and need to take the bus the rest of the way. Several of those bus rides are taken with me in tears because of the amount of shame that I was feeling about my body, and quickly trying to pull it all together to participate in class. My friends are commenting on my waddle, my mom keeps remarking on what appears to be a lazy eye developing and my drooping left eyelid, and I'm talking weekly with my therapist and partner about how much I'm struggling to function. I pull out of hangouts and events with friends constantly because I just feel too fatigued and ashamed that I would struggle to participate in the things they want to do. I don't choose to do anything active anymore and only get to see friends when they come to my place where we sit down and play games or watch movies. I graduate from my program and limp across the stage. Ashamed that I've let my body get like this, I put on a smile and celebrate my accomplishments, but all I can think about is that I now need to sit down in the shower to shampoo and condition my hair. I have to sit down to put on my socks, but I used to be able to do that standing on one foot. I bought a bike to try to get in better shape, but I fall over at every stoplight because I can't catch myself with my feet because I'm just too weak. It's beyond any embarrassment that I've felt before, so I stopped riding the bike altogether. But, my partner is moving across the country to move in with me. I got a job as a private practice therapist, and things are about to be great. Things will finally be financially stable, and Adam and I are going to push each other to finally get back in shape because this is all still my weight that's the issue in my mind. Tragedy strikes, and we have to take an immediate trip to see my partner's family. Adam's dad is a doctor, and his stepmom studied kinesiology. We're walking along the beach at low tide, and they encourage me to take my shoes off to have my bare feet on the wet, cool sand. I've never been to the ocean before and seen the difference between high and low tide, revealing small treasures and little animal carcasses. I used to love having my feet in the sand as a kid, but right now all I feel is shame for having to sit down, dirtying the butt of my shorts with damp sand, just to take off my socks and shoes. As we're walking, they both ask if everything is okay because I'm limping along slowly. I tell them about my vision issues and my walking troubles and the other mobility struggles I've been having. I tell them my doctor told me I just need to lose weight. They both know that that's a ridiculous assessment. They asked me to close my eyes and stand on one foot, which I can't do. Adam's dad recommends I go see a neurologist. They both know something is wrong and are concerned, rightly so. I get home and do drag my feet a little bit on making that appointment, but I did it. So I connect with a neurologist, and she's absolutely wonderful. She really listens to me and has a theory on what's wrong with me almost immediately. She thinks it may be MS, so I go get some scans and blood work done. I spend several weeks agonizing for fear of my future, worrying my family, my partner's family, my closest friends, and myself, of course. It's not MS, thankfully. Meanwhile, my symptoms are getting slightly worse. I can no longer see without double vision, so I'm usually dizzy or nauseated, and I often choose to just close my eyes entirely. I spend more time alone and retreat from more and more plans with friends. More diagnostic tests, another theory. More confirmation tests for the diagnosis, and within a month and a half, we have one confirmed. I have Myasthenia Gravis, an autoimmune disease. What? Fortunately, my neurologist explains it to me, so I can explain it to you. The brain sends signals through nerves at synaptic gaps using neurotransmitters. Acetylcholine, or ACH, makes muscles contract, but myasthenia gravis, or MG if you're nasty, has little blockers in place that make it difficult for my muscles to read those signals and then contract as a result. This often leads to muscle weakness and sometimes muscles giving out here or there. But there are treatments. First, we have to figure out if it's from one of two causes: cancer or happenstance that my body's just doing this. More tests, no cancer. Thank God for that. I start on treatments. Steroids to boost my immune system, another medication to immediately treat my symptoms, and then more tests to confirm one of three kinds of MG. This could be to further direct treatment based on the specific antibodies or lack thereof. The medication that immediately addressed my symptoms felt like a miracle. Within 20 minutes, I could mostly see and walk again, and my breathing improved. The miracle med did make me overheat and sweat like crazy, but it was well worth the side effects. The steroids had to start at such high doses that I was struggling to sleep and getting very irritable. My partner was really understanding and extremely patient with me while I got more readily agitated at small things and restlessly roll around in bed next to him, even though we both have to get up for work at 6 a.m. About one night a week, I'm not sleeping at all and just powering through to the next night while I see a full day of clients, trying to obviously stay focused and fight off exhaustion and irritation. My clients obviously don't know what I'm going through, but I have to pretend that everything's okay to be present for their pain and struggles, which is, part of what we do. but just felt a little more challenging with everything going on. The particular type of MG that I have is clear now, and I can do an experimental treatment where I go in for infusions on a regular schedule in blocks of time called cycles. A cycle is one infusion for a week for 4 weeks, and then I have an indeterminate amount of time off. This usually starts at about 7 to 8 weeks for most people, but can start as soon as 3 weeks off from my last treatment cycle. The overall goal is to slowly increase the amount of time between cycles. I move all my clients off my Wednesday morning so I can do these infusions. I need to arrive 15 minutes early. They stick me and wait for the medication to mix. The infusion's about an hour or so, and then they need to watch me for an hour to make sure I don't have a reaction like hives or, bursting into flames. I do it to try and get better. I'm often wearing the same shirt that I took for my partner when we were in our early 20s because it makes me feel safe and comfortable. After each infusion, I feel like I've had somewhere between a light cold and the worst flu that I've ever experienced for somewhere between 1 and 3 days. One time when my partner was finally able to come with me, I had a horrible reaction, which was very surprising. It felt like I was getting stabbed in the kidneys, and I started to panic. The nurses were surprised too, but they stopped it for about an hour, waited for the pain to subside, got me some ice packs, and then restarted the infusion at a slower rate. I was terrified of the pain returning, but the rest of that infusion went fine. The rest of all of the future infusions went fine as well, but I still had the regular cold and flu symptoms, headaches, and achiness. At the same time, I was slowly reducing my steroid use, so my sleep and irritability were getting slightly better. I was still needing to take the other medication 3 times a day, so I was always sweating like a gay bear in a sauna. I would constantly apologize to my partner for sweating so much because it felt like anytime he went to, kiss me on the head or cuddle me in bed, there would be a layer of sweat between us. He would always remark that it's okay in such a comforting tone. After 2 cycles and about a year of treatment, I finally feel like myself again a little bit. I can stand in the shower, I can do yoga, I can bike 6.5 miles to and from work each way, and spend time with friends at their places or at the beach again. I can even keep up with them while we're going for walks. I sent an angry email to my previous doctor who communicated that I had no issues but just needed to exercise more, telling him that I was disappointed in my care from him and that he should not have ignored all those other symptoms. I delayed treatment for almost a year, slowly losing functioning, growing increasingly ashamed and immobile because he didn't take the time to ask me follow-up questions or watch me walk even. He replied with no apology, which just made me more frustrated, so I ended our doctor-client relationship. I found a new primary care physician, and he, like every other doctor I now have, assumes most of my issues are related to my weight. I've gained about 85 pounds, from 150 to about 235. I'm down a bit now since this whole journey started. Every time I gain or lose weight, my doctors refer to me as going in the wrong or right direction, respectively. I likely will have to go back for another cycle of infusion soon, but I'm also considering surgery to remove my thymus, which is apparently really effective at reducing or completely removing all MG symptoms. I also recently watched Madam Web for the first time. Really bad movie, and I loved it. And near the end, you kind of find out that the reason that Dakota Johnson's mom went to the middle of the, forest. I don't know where she is. I think she said Peru, maybe. She went there to find a spider that has magical healing powers because her daughter was going to have some horrible degenerative disease that was going to ruin her life forever. And that disease was Myasthenia Gravis. You can imagine my surprise when I saw it. That was really funny. Anyway, that is my Myasthenia Gravis story. I needed no magical spiders, just some treatment and competent doctors, thankfully. It's been a really unpleasant couple of years trying to figure out what in the world is going on, and I genuinely could not have done it without my partner Adam and my closest friends, as well as Adam's dad, because I would have continued to blame myself instead of going to a neurologist until he intervened. I will forever be grateful to all of them. I'd love to hear from anyone else who has struggled with doctors, who's been through complicated diagnostic processes, felt the short and long-term impacts of chronic illness or disability, or if anyone else has heard of or actually has myasthenia gravis, I'd love to hear your stories. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're showing yourself and others how much love, gratitude, and kindness you have to offer the world. I will see you soon. Bye.